Hi guys, how you doing? I'm gonna share this video. So this isn't the video I was gonna do today. My hair's a little crazy, but I decided I needed to. So my other video I might just do in Food Rebels, so I'm gonna share it now. But I wanna talk to you about food sensitivities, and do you think you would have food sensitivities show up right now for you if you were to go and do one of those blood tests? And I'll tell you what will happen because I know. And I want to talk about why a lot of people are doing them and looking to do them anyways. Okay. Sorry, I have a slow internet. Just need to share this video. There we go. I'd love to hear too if you've already done a food sensitivity test or if you've considered doing one. What is this doing? Come on. It's slowly coming up. Hello, how are you guys? So, if you don't know, food sensitivities, healing the gut, and digestion is my specialty, and I did it for years, working with the LEAP food sensitivity test, and now I do it a different way, a more natural way, a much easier way, and I just think it's so fascinating, and there's all these really like trendy things going on and a really popular beliefs about what it takes to heal the gut, and I just want to start sharing a little bit more about my perspective because it's so different than what most people think you have to do in order to get this kind of thing handled. So, come on. Hello. So if you, tell me where you're from, you guys, and let me know if you've ever had a food sensitivity test or if you have thought about doing one. And why? This is really bothering me. Just trying to share it in my group. I have my space heater on behind me. It's like still too cold for me. I need to live in the desert or the jungle. Okay, well, I'll just start talking and share it as soon as I can, okay? So, oh, there we go. Yeah, and come join my Food Rebels group if you aren't already a part of it because I do extra things in there. But okay, so let's just talk about this. Oh, British Columbia, very cool. Very cool, I'm glad you're here. So food sensitivities and the testing. I see posts all the time about people promoting like this certain brand of test or method, even just the idea, right, that we need to do a food sensitivity test in order to like fix ourselves, in order to heal our gut. It's just so fascinating how people are like, oh, I felt like stuck in my body, or like, here's what's going on. A lot of people look to go and do that type of test or method because they feel frustrated and stuck with the symptoms that their body is showing them. And a lot of the symptoms that people are frustrated about and with that will then turn to look for a food sensitivity test are things like fatigue, for like weight gain, for obviously digestive issues that are like chronically happening and you're like, you just don't get it and you just don't know what's going on. It could be headaches, it could be adrenal stuff. There's just so many things that are linked into the gut, right? And I do agree with this. I do agree completely that the gut is the hub of everything that we have going on, and it has to be working efficiently for us in order for everything else to be as efficient and as effortless as well. But there's a lot of like people that think that everything is linked to the gut, everything is linked to this like leaky gut concept, which isn't actually the case. And so I want to talk about like why if you did a food sensitivity test, like what would show up and what that actually means. So, Lise, is that how you say your name? Lise? Or is it Lisa? Currently trying to do gluten, dairy, sugar-free for your chronic pain and Lyme. No food sensitivity test done yet. Okay, have you thought about it, or have people told you to do it? I wonder. Because this is typically the route of the clients that I usually work with, or the ones that were doing the test when I was doing them in the past, is it's like a confusing time, right? You get that food is an issue, and you get that you need to make the dietary changes, right? And for sure, if you have chronic pain and, yes, Lise, okay, it's pretty, I like your name. And especially for Lyme, right? You have to, we get it, like there's a definite connection with food in our health. It's everything, and it's our bodies. And I mean, in one way, we can be like really grateful that we have come to understand that there's this connection. And my mom, oh my God, my mom is texting me like random letters. She just texted me PPO, like, I don't know, Mom. So she doesn't have an iPhone, and we need to get her one. So, okay, this made me laugh. We get that food is so important, and so whatever has brought you to this fact, it's actually a blessing, because it will serve you for the rest of your life. But when you're in it, when you're having the inflammation, and when you have the fatigue, and you have all these things going on, it sucks for sure. And so I just want you guys to have clarity around like what a food sensitivity test would show you, and then you can decide if you think you need to do one or not. But what I kind of jokingly put as the title of this live stream was like, what would show up? What did I even call this? What would show up if you did one, and would everyone have food sensitivities? Okay, so the answer is yes. Everybody, if everyone went out there and did a food sensitivity test, you would get foods and whatever else would be on that test to show up as reactive components to you in your body. Now, the best ones, if you were to do one, the best ones are the ones that test for all reactions, all inflammatory pathways that are not allergies. Because there's multiple pathways. It's not just IgE, it's not just IgG. There's all these different pathways that a food sensitivity can show up through, and so you would want to make sure that all of those were covered, okay? But really what you want to know is that when you get a test that's going to like expose your blood to any kind of food, any kind of preservative, like the one that I used to work with did 150 foods, chemicals, and dyes, right? So we tested everything from like apples to avocados to beef, chicken, eggs, salmon, but we also tested like polysorbate 80 and that kind of stuff. And so the first thing to know is like, what's so interesting to me is that it's like not every single person that I ever tested was completely reactive to all the junk, like to all the preservatives, to all the chemicals, to the food dyes. And that's insane, right? Because our body should be showing up reactive to red dye number 40 or yellow dye number whatever it is, and the blue dyes and the polysorbate 80 and whatever. And so it sort of like is a question mark already there. Like, why would the body not show up as reactive to every single one of those things, right? Because those things don't have a purpose for us in our bodies. Those things are false additives. Like there's no reason for us to be consuming them. And so it was like, regardless of if they showed up or not, I would not let anybody eat those things. You know, like you were put on an elimination diet, which is a whole other area to talk about, and I will. But like it has to be based out of whole foods, right? So it's sort of like, in my opinion, it's completely silly to go and put all these chemicals and stuff on a test that you pay for, because it's like, duh, of course those things are going to be reactors, and there is no purpose for them. And especially if you have a digestive problem, if you think your gut is not well, which it isn't if you are thinking about doing this, and especially if you have fatigue or these external issues that are branched out beyond the gut, like you gotta stop eating any processed food, packaged food, polysorbate, whatever food, and in your life, look at everywhere else that you're getting exposed to chemicals, okay? So that's just like the basis. But then like there's always this variation, right, of what would show up for different people. And even if it's a real food, even if it's a whole food, even if it's like grapes or something. So what I want to tell you is, if you go and do a food sensitivity test, I don't care who you are right now, whether you feel completely perfectly healthy in your body or you don't, that there would be foods that showed up for you. And so how does that actually make sense? So here's why it does. Because what those tests are testing is how powerful that food is reacting with your blood at this moment. So it could be garlic, it could be an apple, and depending on the state of your body and your health and your blood, it could have a different variation of a level of reactivity for you right now. But the foods that show up as reactors are actually the foods that your body wants you to be eating. So it's like spinach. Spinach is really powerful. All foods are so powerful, which is why it doesn't make sense to pull them out. But the truth is that any person that got a test would have real whole foods, including plants, fruits and vegetables and herbs, that showed up as being foods you should not eat. But it's just because all those foods are so powerful that they're triggering a response in the blood that shows up on the test, but that's not what's wrong with them. What's being read is that they are causing a reaction because they're getting to the root problem, which is bacteria and parasites and viral matter, and then you also have overall toxic load. And of course those foods are going to respond to those pathogens in the body because that's what they do. Foods are healing. And so you really don't need to go and get a food sensitivity test because all of those foods are healing foods. All of those foods are powerful foods, and they will show up in a blood test because they're reacting with the real cause of what you have going on physically. So we can't neglect that there's emotional and other parts that come to help manifest a condition or a disease in the body, okay? But as far as the practical stuff and the physical stuff, we have to understand what is happening, and that you don't need to get a food sensitivity test to be like, I wonder what in my diet is messing up my health. I can tell you what's messing up your health, and it's not anything that's like in an apple or an orange or guacamole or a piece of salmon. So it's the fake food, it's the additives in the food, it's the GMO food, it's the basic stuff, and it's a little bit more beyond gluten and dairy. It is those things too, but it's beyond that, and that's what I cover in my no list, which I think I'm gonna make as like an opt-in so everybody knows this. But it's like those are the foods that are the feeding the problem, and it's nothing more than that. So like if you want that, oh, my friend Monica is texting me. I like it. So if you want that list, comment below, and like I know some of you guys already have it, but that's like the basic foundation. That's the ultimate food sensitivity test. And if you avoided those foods, then you would know enough and you would be doing enough with your diet in the avoidance category to be doing well. So beyond that, like some of these foods are like canola oil, like it's in everything. It's on salad bars, it's in dressings, it's in crackers and chips, even ones in the health market. Some of the other ones, MSG, soy, farmed fish, sugar, So we have to get that those foods are the real problem. So everybody would show up with foods on a sensitivity test that would be like actually harmful if you avoided them, if it showed up that you were reactive to fruits or vegetables or herbs. So it's really just this flip-flop theory, and that has a backwards philosophy where we need to understand what it actually means when a real whole food shows up on a blood test, a sensitivity test. That's not the problem. an apple's never the problem. A piece of fruit is never the problem. An herb is never the problem. It's all these other things you're still not doing now. Well, even with diet changes, you need to know what's missing. Yeah, for sure. So you want to make sure that you have completely eliminated all of the foods, not just sugar, not just gluten, and not just dairy. So it's these other ones. And Lisa, if you want to send me your email, I can send it to you and add you to the list so you get the full no list, because I think everyone just needs to know, like, what's the no list? The no list is and are the foods that go beyond gluten and dairy and sugar, that are the problems in the world, that are the problems in all of our bodies and health, whether you have Lyme disease or adrenal fatigue, or you want to just be healthier and lose weight. Like, it's all of those things all the time. They just aren't good. They just don't have a purpose for us. They don't function within our body. So it might be that as part of it, but then beyond that, we know that when people are struggling with health, and especially with chronic conditions like Lyme, or fatigue, or digestive problems and stuff, you're welcome. I'll get it to you for sure. So when you're struggling beyond that, then you have to look at where else are you out of alignment in your life? Like, what else is going on? What else is wrong? Like, what else is wrong? What else is off? What else is stressful? What else feels so hard and like a struggle all the time? And you can't not look at that if you really want to heal. And it's always been true of all of my clients that had the best results, especially the ones that were doing the food sensitivity test, because they were coming in under this like energy of like, I've been trying so many things and I've seen all these doctors, whether it's gastroenterologists or specialists or functional medicine people or whatever, but like by the time that they would come to me, it was like super frustrating. And the best that they would get from people in their diet would be like, or from someone telling them to fix their diet, would be like, yeah, maybe you could take out dairy, or maybe you could take out gluten. And even a lot of practitioners, or medical practitioners anyways, aren't even completely sold on that. Like, if you find a doctor that believes in diet, then that's amazing and you should keep going to them. But a lot of people get frustrated because their doctors don't know this. They don't understand the powerful impact of your diet, and that you can use food as a major healing tool. It will heal you when you also line up with the whole of you, and that means not neglecting how you're believing things, how you're feeling, levels of stress, what's going on in all areas of your life, right? But with the people that I work with, it's like they had to come and get that it's food is so important, but it's like this delicate balance of like getting that the food matters so much, and at the same time like knowing that there's more, and not making it always like about your perfect diet. Because you guys, if you only could understand how your diet is so influential to your human cells and to your systems, it's running the show, but it's not the only part. And it's like you have to embrace wellness and wholeness and vitality from this place of there's more happening, and the food is integral and it's important, and I need it and I need to know it, and I want to know how to use it the best that I can right now for where I am and for what symptoms I'm showing, or what my body's showing, meaning your bodies are showing, because that matters so much, especially when you get into these areas of health or disease or lack of health, or these confusing mystery type conditions where it's like, I don't get what's going on. And I've been trying to do all these different things, right? What I found for sure is that there is a way to use food, which is like the method that I teach now, in place of food sensitivity testing and in place of an elimination diet, where the concepts are more broad and simple. So all you need to know is, what are the things that I need to avoid first, and you've got to commit to cutting them out. Like, and I'm sure that it wouldn't be that hard for you guys if you're super serious about like turning your body around and turning your health around from a state of inflammation. It's like nobody wants to live like that, and nobody should have to live like that. And we just have to see, what do we need to do? What is our part to do with our diet? So it's cutting those things out that will continue to feed pathogens in the body that are the reason for those symptoms flaring on the physical front, on the food front. And there is a way to, in an order, in a methodology, to use foods more particularly as medicine when we talk about healing the digestive system. And this has to do with the fact that there's different parts of the body, the gut, like all the way, your digestive system is not just your stomach, it's not just your intestines, it's everything from when you start smelling food to chewing food to it going down your esophagus to your stomach. It's levels of stomach acid, it's the motility and the mobility, it's what's happening in the intestines, it's what's happening in the colon or what's not happening, it's absorption and assimilation, and like, is there a lot of irritation? Because people have all different kinds of symptoms with the gut and with food, and it could range from, you know, I get cramps after I eat, to I'm bloated all the time, or I'm bloated after I eat, or I'm constipated, or I'm the opposite of constipated, or I'm flip-flopping between these two, or I have Crohn's or colitis, you know what I mean? Like, so all of those different symptoms to me mean different things for what I know for sure is happening in somebody's body. And so with that information, there are different, like, methods, and like it's sort of like a tailoring of the how do I start with food process so that I get my digestive system faster and quicker and assimilating for me and absorbing for me and calm down for me and ready for food for me. And if there are foods that are causing problems for you now, if they're real foods or not, like, it's how do you navigate that, because you can. And so that's part of the system that I have now, that I use just real foods in place of an elimination diet. So you don't need an elimination diet. You don't need a food sensitivity test. You just need to know what your body is telling you based on what it's showing you and how you feel. So it's like what's showing up and how you feel are everything. It's telling you exactly what's going on, and you might not be able to read it, and that's okay. That's what I do. And then I help you navigate where to start. What do you do? What can you do with your diet to make it easier and better right away so that your body can calm down, especially digestively, especially internally, and then that will allow the rest of the symptoms to subside, you know? And then as we start doing that, as we focus on healing the gut, it's like it just starts to gather more energy. And when you gather more energy in your gut by not making it hard on your gut, then that energy can flow outward and go into more healing and more cleansing and more purifying. And then we work on these other pieces of why is your body showing you this? Why are you having these symptoms that keep hanging around, and exploring the emotional and the mental and the spiritual sides of that, because we have to do that too, and we have to get how to integrate all of that together so that you not only like stop having the pains and the aches or the inflammation or whatever your thing is, but you also get it and you keep it, and you know that you have the ability to have a powerful control over your body and health, not in a grippy way, but in a way that is like certain and sure. And that's actually the live stream. Hold on, you guys, the Costco person is here and I need, hold on. Time out. I have to go open the door. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Costco makes you sign. Instacart should fix that. So, what I was saying is there is a way that you navigate the food process without needing a food sensitivity test, without needing all this like like, oh my God, is it like something I'm eating in my smoothie? Because if it is, it's whey protein or something like that, or natural flavors. It's not your spinach, it's not your kale, it's not like tomatoes, it's not nightshades, it's not onions, it's not garlic, although all of those foods do different things in your body, and therefore they mean different things in the healing process. And so what I really am doing is kind of teaching you to learn what foods will create a certain type of response in your body so that you get it physically and energetically. And then there's also this whole world of how foods have these spiritual components and lessons within them that we also use in the healing process, in the healing the gut process, in the calming down the inflammation in the body process. Because like nobody ever taught us that apples do more than just, you know, clear our liver, or maybe no one even taught us that, you know, right? So there's all these parts of the foods and the fruits that help heal us, and we don't even have to know exactly what they are. But what I will tell you is that I have written out a jump start to healing the gut diet that has recipes in it that is completely calming and cooling and soothing to the body. And it has these specific foods, these specific plant-based ingredients in them for a reason, because I know what they do for you. And we use them in repetition because food is medicine. So that means that the components of the foods, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, the chemicals, whatever's in there that we don't even know about completely, that all of those components are in there, and that if you continue to feed them into your body, that's the medicine, right? Like that's like your dose. So if you know something works to help soothe the lining of your gut, you don't just eat it once, you know, you eat it on purpose. And that's how I view food in general, is you eat on purpose, you eat to fuel yourself. And if it's more than that for you right now, where you are in an inflammatory condition or in pain, or you're bloated or whatever, then paying attention to what specific foods do for you to be able to get rid of that bloating for good, and to know what to do in all these situations for your body, that's really powerful. And so that's what is part of my process now. So I'm so excited to tell you guys about this. So I have adapted like my past method that I had before when I used with clients when I did food sensitivity testing, but now it's all plant-based, and it's all just real food plus emotions plus coaching plus the spirituality of it, and what does health come from, and how do we get it back? And it's you navigating it for yourself, but within this system, right? So I'm launching this program. I'm gonna start letting people sign up it's Friday, so next week. But if you're interested in it, it's going to be a small group program, so you'll get individual attention from me because you need it, right? For this type of course is for the person who has gut issues, whether it's colitis or whether it's constant bloating and you're sick of it and you don't get it and you don't know what's going on, or if it's like adrenal stuff or thyroid stuff, or like the weight is not coming off and you don't know why, and you're like trying to know like, who do I ask, what do I do, like you're trying to look at supplements and this and that. But it's for the person that's like, I don't get what's happening and I can't live like this, I need to have answers. And your answer is not a food sensitivity test. Like that's just so surface, and it's not even telling you the right stuff. So I don't want you to waste more time or waste more money doing that. And my friend Monica was just texting with me because I'm like, I need a new name for my course. And she's like, trust your gut. And I kind of like it because that's exactly what you have to do. You have to start to trust your gut with what the foods can and will do for you and are doing for you. And the knowing that the answers are within you and inside of you at all times, and that you're going to be able to find them, and that I'm just here to help guide you and help teach you more about food than you ever knew was possible, and how to soothe things and calm things down and get on track with your diet, not be afraid of it, but to really understand it in a way that will work for you and then for good, right? Because this isn't just like a 10-day plan or a 6-week program or whatever. It's what do I do now to help nourish and heal and soothe and calm my body down, that I can trust food again, right? Because I don't want anyone to be afraid of food. And I've had clients who could only eat like 2 or 3 things when they came to me, and now eat whatever, and like they don't want to eat junk, right? Because can you imagine like being in that place? But this is funny too, because I have one client right now who has like a pretty extreme digestive condition, and he's like, my goal in life, he's like, my goal is to be able to go to the Cheesecake Factory and eat whatever I want. And I'm like, I love it. So I like, in some cases, depending on you, like depending on each person, right? Some person's goal could be, I want to be able to go out to eat and order anything I want. Why? Because it's not because they want to eat junk food and not be healthy. No, it's because they want to be able to know for sure that they have a healthy gut. They can trust their body, and we aren't meant to have to be perfect. That's not the way life is. Like, your body is so strong. It knows what to do. It just needs you to learn some things. And so there is always a purpose for this stuff, and we have to look at it from a place of, what's my soul's lesson here? What am I being called to see, to know, to learn? And you will find those answers when you start asking those type of questions. And yeah, there is a lot to know about our diet and our food and the place that it plays in our health. And so if you're interested in that, please send me a message or comment below, and I can send you more information about that small group program. And trust your gut. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Trust your gut. I love it. And also, if you're interested in more one-on-one support, I have 6-week soul-fed sessions. So I'm just going to keep these around as part of like my private coaching option. So it's a 6-week one-on-one time frame with me, where you get 4 calls to use it as at your discretion, probably like 2 per every 3 weeks. So and then it's day-to-day boxer support, so we're never far apart. And this is a lot of accountability, mindset, like how to keep your head in the game and on track. So whatever you have going on, then we can work through it, okay? Okay, Lise, I'll make sure you get information, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have friends that have issues like this, please tag them or share it. And let me know what other questions you have around this type of topic, and I'm happy to do more videos for you. And then watch out soon for the information for Trust Your Gut. Okay, have a great weekend. Bye.